Hey, it's Bruce. What in the heck am I doing on the beach? I should be beekeeping, right? Well, you know, I started my channel because I wanted to talk about Florida beekeeping. And we do things a little bit differently down here in the tropics. Well, with subtropics anyway. This is the 10th of December of 2022. And it's a beach day. It's beautiful. There's surfers out there. There's girls in their bikinis. It's great stuff. I wish I was fishing. But in the wintertime, we do things a little differently than a lot of the people up north, and especially a lot of the YouTubers out there. So I'm going to talk a little bit about doing some oxalic acid treatment with my Mite-E-Vape. So hang with me for a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about varroa mites. Varroa mites are a fact of life for beekeepers. This is something we all have to deal with. Our grandfathers really didn't have to deal with it here in the States, but we do. Oxalic acid has been one of my favorite treatments for a while, but you may remember I did a video earlier this year, and I wasn't real happy with my oxalic acid results. I did 5 rounds of oxalic acid. I did them once a week, every Saturday, every 7 days, for 5 weeks. And immediately afterwards, I tested my varroa mite levels, and I had unacceptably high levels of infestation. Not good. So I used Amatraz and knocked out my mite content, my mites, and that was good. But here we are in December, and a lot of beekeepers are thinking oxalic acid, and it makes a lot of sense. If you're up in the northern climates, you might have a period where your bees are completely broodless. Your queens stop laying, they kind of go a bit dormant, and you have time. You might be able to do 1 oxalic acid treatment and kill all the mites. You see, the way the oxalic acid works is it kills the mites that are outside of the capped brood. So the mites that are outside sucking on the bodies of the bees, it'll kill those mites, and they'll fall off and be dead. But the life cycle of the mite is that they lay their eggs, a pregnant female runs inside with a larval bee, then the bees will cap it over with that pregnant female inside, and she'll lay like 4 babies, and they'll come out. There'll be a brother and usually 3 sisters, 2 or 3 sisters, and the brother mates with the sisters, and when they come out, they're pregnant. They'll hatch out right while they're still under the capped brood in a lot of cases. So the oxalic acid, it sprays into, when you vaporize it, it sprays into the hive, and it kind of crystallizes and turns to a powder on the bee's body. It doesn't hurt the bees. They don't like it much though, but they'll clean it all off. But it kills the mites, and the mites will drop dead inside. And so this is good. Now here in Florida, our queens don't go dormant. They stay laying eggs all year long in this warm climate here. And that's good. Our queens don't typically live as long as the queens up north because they don't get a break. They're always laying eggs. They work themselves to death. But it's good. So right now, our queens have slowed down. So this is actually a pretty good time to do oxalic acid treatments. And so I'll do several rounds and we'll see how it goes. Now I'm using my Mite-E-Vape vaporizer. This is a wonderful little thing. I'm seeing newer ones out there that are battery packed, and that's more handy, I'll admit it. But I've got long extension cords. It's not a big deal to run out an extension cord and then run it back. And if I was to put colonies out in our bee club yard or in a different remote area, I could run a inverter off my car and still use an electric wire. But yeah, the Mite-E-Vape works really well. It takes about 30 seconds to knock it out, and the Mite-E-Vape works really well. Pretty pleased with it still after using it for a year or so. You know, there's a beekeeper I really admire called Stuart Spinks from the Norwich Honey Company in England. He has both YouTube videos and he does a podcast. I really like his podcast. It's called Beekeeping Short and Sweet. It's for the inquisitive beekeeper with the short attention span. He says that's like him. It certainly is about like me too. But anyway, I was just listening to his latest podcast, and he was saying that he was experimenting. A lot of his people were telling him that they were just doing one liquid oxalic acid treatment, and that was actually working out, just a one and done treatment, and they weren't doing any other varroa mite treatments for the whole year. I don't know that I'd trust that, but you know, you trust but verify. You got to test it and do your mite counts. It'd be pretty cool if you could get away with that. But anyway, I thought, yeah, I'm not doing the liquid varroa mite treatments, the dribble method right now. I've done that before. I didn't feel like I had quite as good results. I'm still keeping up with the vaporization treatment plan. All right, well, I hope you've learned something and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you the next time. But you know, I gotta say, the beekeeping journey goes on. So if you wanna see some more of the typical works we gotta do as beekeepers, check out this playlist right up here for some of my bee works. All right, this is Bruce and I'll see you next time.